how you doing, beautiful children? Hope you're good today. The sun was out today, which was awesome. I hope you got outside and played. I know there were some computer problems. So if you didn't get to finish your Imagine Learning or iReady today, that's okay. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I brought one of my favorite books today, and I think I've read it to you before, but it's one I brought home with me when I found out we weren't going to be able to go back to school, because it's one of those books that really teaches a good lesson. And I think I read this last year. I'm not sure if I read it this year or not. So there are some kids who might be hearing it for the first time. But as I read this book, I want you to think about the lesson that the author is trying to teach us, because I think that's her purpose. It's a girl, the author, is to kind of teach us a lesson about something. It's a long book, so I'm not even going to talk to you that much. I'm just going to jump right in and start reading, okay? Again, I think you'll really enjoy this. The author and illustrator is Patricia Polacco, and this is called Babushka, Baba Yaga. And a babushka is another word for a grandmother. So keep that in mind. That's what babushka means. And I know grandmothers are so important in their grandchildren's life. I mean, just think about your grandmas for a minute and the fun things that they do for you, the memories you make together, and just all the wonderful things that make them so special. So this is Babushka Baba Yaga, and I think you can kind of tell this book is kind of a fantasy, definitely fiction. Here we go. Remember, you're listening for that author's purpose. Love this book. I hope you do too. I'm going to show you a picture. She was the last of her kind, a creature of legends, a being of the forest. She ruled her woods alone. She ate alone and slept alone. Her loneliness made more bitter by the stories that were told of her, stories of the terrible, horrible Baba Yaga. And so she watched sadly from afar as the people of the nearby village celebrated the seasons of their lives together, kept holidays together, and rejoiced at weddings. Most of all, they pleasured in the birth of their young. How her arms ached to just hold a little one, if only for a moment. How she longed to have a young one of her own. But she was old now and knew that it would never be. Many mornings the babushkas bustled by her forest with their grandchildren. So it sounds like more than anything she wants to have grandchildren of her own. But she's lonely, she's in the forest, and people tell horrible stories about her. I'm going to show you a picture and then I'm going to read. I wish I had a grandchild, she would say to herself. Then one day, as she came close to the dasha of one of the babushkas, she saw some of her clothes drying on the clothesline. I shall borrow these, thought Baba Yaga. I will be a babushka instead of a Baba Yaga. Oh, so she's going to take some clothes from another woman that's hanging them up on the line. So Babushka Baba Yaga actually lives in the forest away from all the people. And I just want to give you a little background about her. People don't like to be around her and have told terrible stories about her because of how she looks. She doesn't look like everyone else. And because of that, it's caused people to spread rumors about her. Rumors are when you say things about people that might not be true, and they're usually very hurtful. And really, all this Baba Yaga wants is to be loved. She looked at the reflection of herself in the stream. I shall have to scrub the forest off my skin, cut my nails, comb my hair. But my ears, she said with a sigh, what will I do about my ears? Then she remembered babushkas always wore scarves. So she's trying to clean herself up now. She's trying to look like one of the other grandmothers. She carefully dressed herself. Yes, she said with glee, I look just like a babushka. She bade the creatures of the forest a fond goodbye. I'm going into the village, she beamed. Beamed? What do you think beamed means? If she's beaming. Yeah, it means she's happy. She's saying that she's very happy. There's all the babushkas. Oh, and someone has a new baby there. As she entered the village, she was warmly greeted by the other babushkas sitting under the shade of the tree in the center of the square. "Come, sister, sit with us," one of them said. Baba Yaga smiled and sighed. No one recognized her. They showed her a brand new baby that had been born just that morning. "This is my grandchild," one proud babushka chirped. "And this is my Masha. Isn't she dear?" One after another, the babushkas shared their babies with her. Just then, Natasha and her little son, Victor, passed by. One of the babushkas whispered, "Too bad. That little one has no babushka to care for him while his mother is at work." As they went on admiring the other babies, Baba Yaga walked right after Natasha and Victor. She followed them down the road and into their little house. I wonder why she's following Natasha and Victor down the road. Well, they did say that poor Natasha didn't have any babushka to look after Victor. "Old one," Natasha greeted her cheerfully. "How is it that you are here?" "Perhaps you can help me," Baba Yaga said. "I am new in the village and alone. I need a place to stay. I can cook, clean, and take care of your son for you." "Oh, I have no money to pay you," Natasha answered sadly. "Oh, I need no money. All I will need is a place to rest my old head and perhaps a little food." "Then you shall indeed stay with us, old one." "I kiss your eyes and hold you in my heart," Baba Yaga said happily, and stay she did. So she's getting her wish. She's going to help take care of a little grandchild. Here she is. It looks like she's doing some work, and look who's helping her. Victor and the kitty. Oh, how happy she was. When Natasha went to work in the morning, she and Victor cleaned the little house together. When all the tasks were done, Baba Yaga took Victor to the edge of the woods. This was her favorite part of the day. I'll show you the animals and the fairies. And there she is with Victor. She pulled Victor into her lap. As she cradled him there, she told him wondrous tales and legends of the great forest. She sang him songs that he had never heard before. Then they would just sit there together and daydream without words at all. As time passed, their love for each other grew and grew. Baba Yaga took as much pride in Victor's life as a real grandmother would. She was well loved in return, and she had earned her place with all the other grandmothers under the shade tree in the village square. Baba Yaga was happy with her new life. Then one day, as the babushkas gathered, they started telling stories to the children. One spoke of Ivan the gray wolf and his firebird. Another told the tale of Sister Anushka and Brother Ivanushka. They all laughed. Then one of them rose from her seat. Her eyes narrowed and her voice hissed as she unfolded the legend of the horrible, the wicked Baba Yaga. "She eats babies," the woman said as all stared in wide-eyed amazement. "She flies through the air on an old stump and she casts spells. She comes out of the forest and takes children in the dead of the night," another warned. "She is ugly, a hag, evil, and hateful," yet another sang out. "And if you don't behave, she'll come and get you," one said to Victor as he hugged close to Baba Yaga. So, do you see what those babushkas are doing? They're telling terrible stories about her, and she's sitting right there. They're saying horrible things, rumors that they've heard that aren't true. That night when she put Victor to bed, he cried himself to sleep. Baba Yaga tried to calm him, but her own heart was heavy and sad. There was only one thing to do: go back to her home in the forest before Victor learned who she really was. She left a note for Victor and his mother saying, "I kiss your eyes and hold you in my heart. My beloved ones, I will never forget your kindness. Love, your Babushka." She left, never to return. Do you see how people who aren't kind can really, really hurt someone and change their lives? Yeah. Well, look at this page. Uh-oh. For a very long time, Victor went to the edge of the forest almost every day. It helped him remember his Babushka, who he missed so much. Then one day, as he sat there, he saw yellow, evil eyes peering at him from the deep blackness of the forest. When he could make out the shapes that went with the evil burning eyes, he saw that the eyes belonged to a pack of hungry wolves. He screamed for help, but he was soon surrounded. The villagers came running, but the wolves snapped at them and snarled when the villagers tried to get close to Victor. "Oh, please," his mother cried. "Someone please help my baby." I bet I know who's going to help. Whoa. At that very moment, the trees parted, and out of the forest crashed a fearsome figure, snarling and gnashing its teeth at the wolves. "The Baba Yaga!" the crowd screamed. The creature eyed them menacingly as it sprang like a cat at the savage wolves. The wolves scattered and ran. Then the creature moved closer to the child, who was howling with fright. When the gnarled hands reached for the boy, his mother screamed. A voice from the crowd said, "The Baba Yaga is going to eat him." As the creature snatched the child from the ground, the villagers gasped with horror. She didn't eat him. With a loud smack, it kissed the child, then smiled through eyes brimming with tears. The weathered arms held the boy close and rocked him so gently. Although she didn't look the same, Victor knew that warm hug well. "Babushka," Victor cried, and he hugged her back. See, Victor doesn't care what she looks like. She was kind to him and took care of him, and he loves her for that. Oh, it looks like she's dressed up like a Babushka again. There was a great celebration in the village that night for a very unusual Babushka. There were flowers given, bread and salt offered, songs sung, and dances danced. One of the Babushkas moved close to her and took Baba Yaga's hands and called out, "Those who judge one another on what they hear or see, and not on what they know of them in their hearts, are fools indeed." "Hear, hear," the mayor sang out, and everyone cheered. Baba Yaga smiled and accepted with grace the tributes. For the rest of her days, she kissed many eyes and held scores of hearts in her good keeping. She was spoken of in the highest regard and well loved. From that time on, she was known as only Babushka Baba Yaga. What did you think? I love that story. Did you kind of figure out what lesson the author was trying to teach us, the purpose why he wrote this book? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's to teach you not to judge people by how they look, but what's in their heart and how they treat other people. And I think that one woman on this page said it the best when she said, "Those who judge one another on what they hear or see, and not on what they know of them in their hearts, are fools indeed." I think that's a great quote. And I think that's true. I think if you listen to rumors, again, those are things that people might say about people that you really don't know to be true. Or if they look at someone and say, "Oh, I don't want to hang out with that person. Look at their hair," or something like that. They're not really using good judgment, because you should get to know someone and know that what's in their heart really matters. And that's what I know about you. You guys all have good hearts. And I know you would never make anyone feel that way, right? No, you wouldn't. Okay, well, You know I love you and I miss you. Take care. This was a long one. Okay. Have a good day. Bye. Miss you.